Now to New York, and the Ministry of External Affairs is conducting a press conference.
Very kind Ministry of External Affairs, Sri Nagaraj Raidu. With that, I invite the Secretary to make his opening remarks. So, over to you.
Thank you, Randeep. Good evening, all. The Prime Minister has just concluded a very intense and successful visit to the United States and will be departing shortly for India. Now, we had kept you posted on the various elements of his program through yesterday and today as well. I think yesterday there were press releases issued on all elements of his program, the community event in Long Island, the tech roundtable that had been organized by the MIT School of Engineering, the bilateral meetings that he had yesterday with the Prime Minister of Nepal, the Crown Prince of Kuwait and the President of Palestine. Prime Minister also had a meeting yesterday with the CEO of Holtec International, an Indian American, Mr. Krishna Singh. Very useful meeting. Today, as you're aware, was largely multilateral day. As I told you, this was a visit that had the bilateral, the plurilateral and the multilateral. Today was a multilateral day, primarily with Prime Minister's address to the Summit of the Future in the morning. And this afternoon, the Prime Minister had a meeting with the President and General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam, His Excellency To Lam, and he has just concluded his engagements for the day with a meeting with President Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine. I have a few additional details. I think the community event, most of you must have watched it or you were present for it, so I won't go into the details of the event except to say that it once again showed the kind of connect that the Indian American community has built in the United States and the manner in which it acts as a living bridge between our two countries, and the Prime Minister acknowledged that in his remarks. The highlights, of course, were his announcement about India's plans to open 2 new consulates in Boston and Los Angeles, and also the naming of a Thiruvalluvar chair in Tamil Studies at the University of Houston. The tech roundtable, I had said in my curtain raiser press briefing as well as in my briefing on the first day of the visit here today, that this visit has a very strong technology element to it. You saw that technology element reflected in the Quad joint statement as well. You saw it reflected in the US-India bilateral fact sheet as well. And in his other meetings as well, this has been reflected, not just with the MIT organized roundtable, but also in his meeting with the CEO of Holtec. The roundtable was especially useful. It gathered the who's who in the field of the leading companies in the field of AI, semiconductors, quantum computing, life sciences, IT, and communications. I think the list is already available with you, so I won't go into that. But what was striking about the roundtable was the extent of involvement that all of these companies already have in India, the degree to which they are enthused by the prospects in India, the policy environment in India, and their plans to continue to grow in India and grow with India for themselves and for the rest of the world. And I think that's what was really a feature of the remarks of practically every one of the CEOs, of how excited they are for their own businesses in India, especially at this moment in time when things like AI and quantum computing are changing the world as we know it. The particular sense in India at this time that technology can be a driver of seminal change for the nation, but also for countries of the global south in general, which should not be left behind in this race for technology. They felt that India could play a leadership role in this regard. The Prime Minister, of course, shared with them his own thoughts about the new policies that are coming into play. We have you are aware of the India Semiconductor Mission, for instance. There is a second edition of that is in the works, and he shared his thoughts about those policies that are coming, and invited them to be a part of this exciting journey that India is embarked on. And also it gave the opportunity to reflect on how technology has become a core driver of the India-US strategic partnership. Insofar as the bilateral meetings are concerned, I think you already have some sense of the meetings that took place with the Prime Minister of Nepal. There was an opportunity. This was the first time that the two Prime Ministers were meeting after Prime Minister's own election for the third term after because Prime Minister Oli was not in office at that time, and then Prime Minister Oli took office in Nepal. So this was their first meeting in this particular phase. It gave them the opportunity to reflect on the unique and close bilateral relationship between the two countries and their intention to make progress in all areas of bilateral relations, including the development partnership, the cooperation on energy, on power, on connectivity, insofar as energy is concerned, physical connectivity, people-to-people connectivity, etc. The Prime Minister also had a meeting with the Crown Prince of Kuwait, where he remarked on the very close relationship between the two countries. And in fact, the Crown Prince of Kuwait said that India is a part of Kuwait's history, and in fact cited some old sayings from Kuwait that reflected the closeness of the relationship between the two countries. There are a few high-level visits in both directions that were deliberated upon, and these will be planned in the coming months. The Prime Minister's meeting with the President of Palestine, the Prime Minister referred to India's historic support for Palestine in the United Nations, on the international stage, as also the consistent and sustained humanitarian support that India has provided to Palestine in the fields of health, education, capacity building, and others. He also expressed deep concern at the unfolding crisis in Gaza, where the situation remains complicated and tensions remain high, and reiterated once again that only a two-state solution can deliver sustainable peace in this area. The President of Palestine thanked the Prime Minister for the assistance that India had provided, including on the political issues, and hoped that India would continue to play its role for bringing peace in the region. Today, as I said, the Prime Minister had meetings with the President of Vietnam and the President of Ukraine. With the President of Vietnam, again, as you know, the President has also just very recently taken over as the General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam. The Prime Minister congratulated him on his assumption of this new position. He also recalled the visit of the Vietnamese Prime Minister to India recently, the significance of the India-Vietnam strategic relationship. He expressed condolences for the recent devastation in Vietnam on account of Cyclone Yaji. General Secretary and President Tolam thanked Prime Minister for his good wishes, thanked him for the aid operation that India had launched under Operation Sadbhav recently to bring relief aid to Vietnam. Prime Minister also invited him to visit India, an invitation which was accepted and will be worked on through other channels. Both sides remarked on the growing relationship, especially in the fields of defense and security, in energy, and of course cultural contact, which remains a very strong part of the relationship. The day ended just a short while ago with a meeting between Prime Minister and President Zelensky. This, as you would have remarked, is the third meeting between the two leaders in the space of about 4 months, and probably 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. It gave an opportunity to take stock again of the recent developments. President Zelensky, Prime Minister, recalled his visit to Kyiv, their discussions on all matters, the bilateral issues as well as issues surrounding the Russia-Ukraine conflict. President Zelensky was very appreciative of India's attention to these issues and said that Prime Minister's visit had been highly appreciated, and he thanked the Prime Minister for the efforts that he was making for peace and a pathway to finding a way out of this conflict. Both sides appreciated that there was positive momentum on a lot of issues in the bilateral relationship, and they agreed to remain in close touch, either directly or through exchanges of visits at various other levels. As you would probably be aware, there is an intergovernmental commission between the two sides, and there was some discussion about arranging a meeting of the intergovernmental commission, which is headed at the levels of the two foreign ministers. I think I've covered all the points. Yeah, there was this meeting yesterday with Dr. K.P. Singh, as I said, who's chairman of Holtec International, which is a leading U.S. player in the civil nuclear field, and especially in the exciting new field of small modular reactors. And there was a discussion on the possibility of the application of that technology in the Indian context, and I imagine that these discussions will continue at the technical levels. Last but certainly not the least was today's main event, which was Prime Minister's address to at the Summit of the Future at the UN General Assembly. Here, as you are aware, the summit is taking place against the backdrop of conflict in the world, challenges to sustainable development, including in the fields of climate, health, energy, education, gender, etc. The objective of the summit is to rebuild trust in the multilateral system and showcase the power of international collaboration in addressing current and future challenges. And for the first time, the entire UN membership, through the Pact of the Future that was adopted this morning, has agreed on a pathway to transform global governance, and it is expected that this will provide some momentum to the processes that are already underway in many of these areas within the UN system. Prime Minister therefore highlighted in his remarks, which you would have seen, that in order to stay relevant, the multilateral system has to reform. Reform is the key to relevance, as he said, and he spoke of India's own example and said we've shown how sustainable development can take place at scale successfully, and demonstrated India's readiness to share our experiences with the world, especially in the field of digital public infrastructure. We have, I think his speech is available. Overall, this has been, as I said, an extremely intense visit. I think it's lasted about 55 or 56 hours in all, but we've had very significant outcomes in the bilateral, in the plurilateral, and in the multilateral domains, and have enabled India to say its piece and share its thoughts on a global stage, and I'm sure the results from this will stand us in good stead as we move forward. Let me stop there. I think the delegation is on a really short time slot. Yeah, I think we can take a few.
We start here. Vishnu.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Vishnu Shom from NDTV. At whose request did the meeting between the Ukrainian President and Prime Minister happen, and was there acceptance of our argument that the import of Russian oil does not translate into furthering Russia's war effort?
सर, कृष्ण मोहन शर्मा फ्रॉम भारत एक्सप्रेस। प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने अपने स्पीच में कहा कि सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट जो है वो बैटल ग्राउंड में नहीं हो सकता। उसके बाद यूक्रेन के जेलेंस्की से उनकी मुलाकात हुई, तो इसका क्या नतीजा देखा जाए? कुछ ऐसी उम्मीद है कि ये युद्ध खत्म होगा, क्योंकि पूरा विश्व जो है वो भारत की तरफ देख रहा है।
Prashant.
So Prashant Shah of the Hindustan Times. One question on tax. In the conversation yesterday with the CEOs, while they were appreciative of India's strengths, were there regulatory, legislative changes that they suggested which could enable them to participate in the India story more? And did DPI come up? And what are the mechanisms through which we are pushing or planning to push DPI out? On Ukraine, sir, quick follow-up to Vishnu's question. Besides the normative desire for peace, which the Prime Minister has consistently pushed, was there a discussion on the empirical pathway to peace and the specifics of what that would entail? Thank you.
Siva.
Seema Sirohi, The Economic Times. Mr. Foreign Secretary, I had a question about the US-India big picture. As you might know, there was some meeting that the White House called with Sikh activists. And also, there is a case going on. Some people think it's that's why the NSA did not come in the delegation. While the bilateral joint statement is expansive, substantive, and great, there are these little things that keep happening. I mean, I don't know if I should call them little, but how should we interpret the big picture in this case?
Okay. The meeting with President Zelensky was a meeting that the Ukrainian side requested and accordingly took place. Insofar as your question related to oil is concerned, that did not figure in the discussions today. As I said, this is the third meeting in between the leaders in the last 3 months or so. A lot of the issues have been discussed, but at this particular meeting, this particular subject was not discussed. कृष्णा, आपका जो सवाल था कि प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा कि सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट युद्ध के माहौल में नहीं हो सकता, तो एक तरह से जो राष्ट्रपति ज़ेलेंस्की के साथ भी भेंट हुई है, उसमें भी प्रधानमंत्री जी को ये कहने का अवसर मिला कि उन्होंने हमेशा शांति का प्रस्ताव लेके शांति के पथ पे आगे बढ़ने की बात की है। तो साफ बात है कि अगर शांति नहीं है तो एक तरह से सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट भी नहीं हो सकता। तो ये दोनों चीज़ें जुड़ी हुई हैं। क्या युद्ध का अंत होगा ये तो समय ही बताएगा, लेकिन सब लोगों की जो कोशिश है वो इसी ओर केंद्रित है कि किसी तरह से युद्ध का अंत ढूंढा जाए। और प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अपनी जो उनकी राष्ट्रपति ज़ेलेंस्की से बातचीत हुई उसमें उन्होंने उनसे बताया भी कि उनकी अलग अलग देशों के जो नेता हैं उनसे बातचीत हुई है और इस विषय पे बातचीत होती रहती है और सबका मत यही है कि किसी न किसी तरह से हमको युद्ध का जो युद्ध विराम के लिए कोई न कोई रास्ता निकालना पड़ेगा और इसी को लेके हमारी भी कोशिशें जारी हैं। Prashant, about the meeting with the tech CEOs, yes, a few of them did comment on the issues related to the regulatory and the legislative environment. I would say that some of them, while they said or referred to some aspects that needed addressing in India, but at the same time they were also enormously appreciative of the ecosystem and the environment that already existed in India, and that in fact enabled them to take advantage of the opportunities that were there in India. So the idea was that we are doing well. I mean, in terms of the companies in India are doing well. They can do even better, and they intend to do even better. And some enabling measures by the government would help in that regard. And the Prime Minister said that he remained open to hearing their suggestions and doing everything that was necessary in order to enable India to take advantage of the enormous opportunities that are presented by these breakthrough technologies finding fertile ground in India, to not only make India grow, but for these companies growing in India and enabling their operations elsewhere in the world also to grow. You had on DPI, yes, there was a reference. I think the reference was mostly complimentary in terms of the manner in which India had rolled out this concept and in fact shown a third way to the world of how digital prowess could be leveraged for social and public good, not just in one country, but in a scalable manner to the rest of the world. And we are, in fact, at work back home to develop a model. Some aspects are already under discussion with some of our interlocutors and partners in other countries, but we are working on a plan to see how we can get this to roll out on a much larger scale in countries where there would be a requirement for this. On your supplementary question about Ukraine and whether in addition to the normative there is clarity on the specifics, you know, in some senses first there has to be clarity on the normative aspect. As Mahatma Gandhi, I think, said once, there is no path to peace. Peace is the path. So there needs to be agreement on that. But in addition to that, I would say that the discussions that are ongoing today, they are focused on the specifics. There have been earlier as well questions about these specifics. There are obviously discussions going on in multiple forums around the world. You have various processes that are underway, various formats that have seen that we have seen, and we've been involved in some of those where the idea has been to try and see if there is something around which a consensus can develop. We, as a result of the Prime Minister's visit to Kyiv, You are following the developments since then, where the Prime Minister subsequently has been in touch with President Putin in Russia, with President Biden here in the US. Our National Security Advisor visited Russia also recently. So there are a number of conversations that are going on. The attempt in all of these is to try and move towards some specifics. I don't say that the specifics are available today, but the attempt is to do precisely that. Seema, on your question related to the US-India big picture and then what you referred to as things that keep happening. Frankly speaking, I mean, what you have referred to, honestly, the question would probably be better directed at the actors that are involved in these things, as you say. We are quite clear insofar as the big story here is concerned, which is the very important relationship between India and the United States. We intend to keep working on that. There are elements that you have referred to. On that, our position is very clear, so I'm not going to repeat that again at this forum. But if you want details with regard to that and what the motivation of these things is, what the purpose is, and what ends this is supposed to serve, I think it would be better to direct this question at the people who are directly involved in this. Maybe one more round, because otherwise you're going to get left behind. ठीक है नहीं
Manish? Foreign Secretary Manish Chand, India Rights Network. On the Pact of the Future, how did India shape the outcomes? What is the Indian imprint there? And number two, of all the world leaders who are at the UNGA, Prime Minister chose to speak to the president of, to the Palestinian leader as well as to Ukraine. And in his UNGA address also, there is a lot of emphasis on peace building and peacemaking, you know, preventing conflicts. Is this a conscious effort to project India as a peacemaker, a peace builder, and apostle of peace? What is the narrative here? Thank you.
Ayushi?
Sir, good evening. This is Ayushi Agarwal from MEA. I have two questions. During the Indian Prime Minister's meeting with Zelensky, was there any discussion on the second peace summit since Zelensky had earlier proposed holding a summit in India? So any discussion on that? Second, was there any request from the Bangladesh's interim government to hold a meeting with the Prime Minister? Thank you.
Yoshita?
Thank you. Yoshita Singh with Press Trust of India. I have a question on the UN Security Council reform. The Pact of the Future contains some language on it, which officials here have said is groundbreaking. How does India see the language on UN Security Council reform in that? Is it satisfied? Does it move the needle a bit, or is it the same language in a new pact? Thank you.
Sridham?
Sriram Lakshman from the Hindu, thank you. One of the questions was there have been many efforts to reform the UN and especially the Security Council, and they haven't really borne fruit. What is different about this pact and this summit? Are you confident, and what gives you this confidence that this is actually going to move things forward on Security Council and UN reform? The second question is about the discussion with President Abbas. How did the discussion around India's abstention vote last week on Israel vacating the occupied territories go? Can you flesh out that discussion for us a little bit? Thank you.
Madam?
Okay.
गुड इवनिंग सर, आई एम सर्जना सनमार्ग से हूँ. विनय क्वात्रा जी से मेरा सवाल है कि कल जब कम्युनिटी प्रोग्राम के बाद बहुत सारे अमेरिकन इंडियंस मिले हमें, उनका ये कहना था कि हमें उम्मीद थी कि शायद प्रधानमंत्री दोहरी नागरिकता की घोषणा करें, और हमें बहुत निराशा हुई कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने इस बारे में कुछ नहीं बोला. दूसरा उनका कंसर्न था कि हम इंडिया में बिजनेस करना चाहते हैं, लेकिन हमें बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स आती हैं. उसके बारे में भी हमें अभी तक कोई बहुत पॉजिटिव रिस्पांस नहीं मिलता.
One last question, our friend there.
Yeah, Vishnu from News India Times. Prime Minister announced opening of 2 new consulates in Boston and Los Angeles. Do you have any timelines as to when they'll be inaugurated?
Sir.
So I think on the question related to the Pact for the Future and India's contribution to it, now, we have been involved in the negotiations related to this for, what is it, the better part of
2 decades.
yeah, I mean, but insofar as the Pact for the Future is concerned, the better part of the last 4 to 6 months that we've been involved in it. So there's been a lot of input that has gone into it. One thing, of course, is that we, if you would recall that in August this year, the Prime Minister convened the third Voice of the Global South Summit. And that was also an opportunity to hear the concerns of the Global South, because often their voice is not heard on several global platforms, and to see what their concerns were. And it enabled us to formulate our own thinking. And those inputs have gone into not just the Pact of the Future, but also the annex documents related to the digital global digital compact and the declaration on the youth as well. So we have contributed to not just the elements related to global governance, transformation of global governance, but also our concerns related to sustainable development, climate change, etc. All of these have figured in the final outcome document, and ours has been one of the most closely involved teams right till the finalization of the Pact of the Future this morning. Your question related to the significance of the meeting with President Zelensky, and does it sort of burnish our role? Yeah. So look, this is not, I mean, our voice in support of peace and a path to peace through dialogue and diplomacy is not a new one. It's natural for us to assume this role. And I think the Prime Minister's meeting with President Zelensky also reflects his own, in a sense, commitment to this effort, because he is deeply concerned by this conflict, not just in terms of the human toll that it is taking, something that he has recognized, but also in terms of the toll that it is taking on the world at large, and especially on countries in the global south. So his meeting with President Zelensky demonstrates his commitment to finding a way forward and to contributing in any way possible to a resolution of this conflict. Ayushi, related to discussions with President Zelensky on a second peace summit, as I said, the discussions covered a lot of issues related to the issue of finding a way forward. A number of things came up in this. The peace summit that was held in Switzerland, the ideas that have been floated after that, the efforts that Ukraine is making on its own, and the possibility of a second peace summit that Ukraine has been talking about. But I think we are not right now at a stage where the second peace summit can be discussed in any detail. I think there is a lot of work that remains to be done before that. So there was not a great deal of discussion on that specific issue. I think you mentioned about the meeting with Bangladesh. As you are aware, the Prime Minister is leaving in a few minutes from now. The Chief Advisor of Bangladesh is not here yet, so there hasn't been any possibility of a meeting on this occasion. Yoshita, your question on I think both yours and Sri Ram's questions are more or less on the same lines as to whether the new language on Security Council reform is something that would give us any conviction or confidence in the possibility of real reform in the governance. I would only point you in the direction of the fact that for the first time a UN summit document has a detailed paragraph on UN Security Council reform. So it may not have every single detail in every area that we would imagine or we would like there to be, but I think it's a good beginning, and we look forward eventually to the beginning of text-based negotiations in a fixed time frame going forward. But this should be seen as the first stop towards that objective. And the fact that, till now we haven't really had discussions on the basis of text, but an agreement at this level in the pact where it keeps open the possibilities of a reform of the UN system is a gain from any perspective. The question related to the meeting with President Abbas of Palestine and his stance. Look, as I said, the meeting was a very good meeting, and it gave the opportunity to President Abbas to, in fact, appreciate the stance that India has taken in an overall sense on the Palestine issue. And we have had repeated opportunities in the last several months to express that support on several occasions. Our fundamental position on the Palestine issue remains what it has long been. In the present context, there's much greater urgency related to issues of humanitarian assistance and support, which we have continued to provide and will continue to provide. I want to tell you that President Abbas did explicitly state that he was very appreciative of India's support, not just for humanitarian assistance, but also for India's political support to Palestine on the international stage. On that question addressed to Ambassador Quatra and the two new consulates, I think you are probably best placed to address that as well.
Thank you very much, Foreign Secretary. देखिए, जहाँ तक आपका जो प्रश्न था कि जो कम्युनिटी इवेंट हुआ उसके बाद की जो चर्चाएं कम्युनिटी के बीच में हुई, देखिए मुझे संज्ञान नहीं है कि आप कम्युनिटी के इवेंट में उपस्थित थी या नहीं थी, लेकिन यदि आप थी, जो कि आपके प्रश्न से लगता है कि थी, आपने देखा होगा कि कम्युनिटी इवेंट में किस प्रकार की ऊर्जा थी, किस प्रकार का उत्साह था, किस प्रकार की उमंग थी एक प्रकार से, यदि मैं कहूँ तो मैं आपके विषय विशेष के बारे में तो टिप्पणी नहीं करूँगा, क्योंकि विषय भारतीय समुदाय जो कि एक प्रकार से भारतीय परिवार की एक्सटेंशन है, वो विश्वव्यापी है, व्यापक है। तो उनके जो वेलफेयर से रिलेटेड जो इश्यूज़ हैं वो बहुत सारे, तो विशेषात्मक प्रश्नों पे टिप्पणी करना शायद उचित नहीं होगा, लेकिन मूल भाव इसमें स्पष्ट है। आपने जब प्रधानमंत्री जी का कल वक्तव्य सुना, तो यदि आप वक्तव्य का मूल भाग देखें, उसका मूल भाग यही है कि भारतीय परिवार जहाँ भी होगा और उनसे जुड़ने के लिए, उनसे सहयोग सहकार्य, सकारात्मक सहयोग सहकार्य करने के लिए जो भी करना होगा, किस प्रकार से वो भारतीयता को यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स में एक प्रकार से यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स की जीवन शैली का एक प्रकार से एक अभिन्न अंग सा बनाते हैं करके, वो भाव मूल रूप से उभर के आया और कितना जो एक प्रकार से कहूँ कि किस प्रकार से एक बाहर विश्व में फैला भारतीय परिवार भारत से एक प्रकार से अभिन्न रूप से जुड़ा हुआ है, वो भावना वो एक प्रकार से स्पष्ट रूप से भाग गई। जहाँ तक एकल नागरिकता का प्रश्न है, वो आप भी अच्छी तरह से जानती हैं, हमारे संविधान में निहित है, तो उस प्रश्न पे बात करने के लिए और प्लेटफॉर्म है। जहाँ तक बिजनेस की आपने बात की, देखिए आपने देखा होगा कि पिछले 10 सालों में 2014 के बाद प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी की सरकार बनने के बाद तब से लेके अब तक किस प्रकार के कदम, जहाँ तक भारत में ईज़ ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस का जो कंसेप्चुलाइजेशन हुआ, वो प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने ही किया था। उसके बाद यदि आप तब से लेके आज तक देखें तो आप पाएंगे कि भारत में जो व्यवसाय, निवेश, व्यापार से जुड़े जिस प्रकार की भी कानून व्यवस्था है, जिस प्रकार की भी सरकारी का औपचारिक व्यवस्था है, उसमें कितनी सरलता आई है पिछले 1 दशक में, वो उसका जो एक प्रमाण है वो सबको पता है। लेकिन ये लगातार प्रक्रिया है, ये प्रक्रिया अपने आप में एक प्रश्न में निहित नहीं होती। लेकिन मैं सिर्फ इतना ही कहना चाहूँगा कि भारतीय समुदाय से जुड़े जिस प्रकार के हर प्रकार के मुद्दे से भारतीय दूतावास, अमेरिका में स्थित भारतीय काउंसलेट, मैं तो हालांकि मेरा ये अधिकृत नहीं है, लेकिन पूरे विश्व में जहाँ भी भारतीय काउंसलेट और एम्बेसी हैं वो भारतीय समुदाय के से हर प्रकार से जुड़ते हैं और हर प्रकार से जो उनके विचार हैं, उनके जो विमर्श हैं, उनको हम अपने कार्यों में संलग्न करते हैं। लेकिन एकल नागरिकता का प्रश्न वो हमारे संविधान से जुड़ा है। देखिए, जहाँ तक आपके काउंसलेट्स का जो प्रश्न है ऑन बोथ लॉस एंजलिस एंड बॉस्टन, यू वुड रिकॉल दैट I think it was during the last state visit that it was announced that 2 new consulates will be open, and Prime Minister made that announcement. You all saw that, and we will now work with the US administration to carry forward the implementation of that decision. Thank you.
With that, we come to the close of this special briefing. Thank you very much. Thank you.